Today we're gonna deep dive into why I think Bitcoin will go back to $100,000. We'll take a look at Bitcoin in a smaller time frame, and we'll also take a look at Ethereum price. But first off, let's start with Bitcoin. If you look at this green line, this is the 50-week moving average. And historically, whenever we got a weekly candle close below this 50-week moving average, that was a confirmation for Bitcoin that Bitcoin is entering a bear market. Let me show you an example. Here is the January 2022, which was the beginning of the new bear market. How did we know that we entered the bear market? Because we had a weekly close below this 50-week moving average, and Bitcoin didn't make any new all-time high because we entered a new bear market right here. Here is another example. 2018, when we entered the bear market, we had a weekly close below the 50-week moving average, and then Bitcoin never went back again to make a new all-time high until we entered the new cycle, and this bear market again lasted for 1 year. All right, now if we are in a bear market, then why am I saying that we will go back to $100,000? And the reason why I'm saying this is because historically, whenever we went below the 50-week moving average, it eventually went back just above the 50-week moving average. Now here's another example from 2018 bear market. Again, if you look at this, we went below the 50-week moving average, then Bitcoin bounced back to touch this green line, which is the 50-week moving average. Right now, we are already below the 50-week moving average, and Bitcoin price went down to around $80,000. And the reason why I think it's gonna go up again to around $100,000 is because this 50-week moving average is currently sitting around $102,000, and by the time Bitcoin will go back again to touch this line might be sitting at around $100,000 or $99,000 to $100,000. And historically, like we said, Bitcoin always went back to 50-week moving average, and then it's very likely that we get rejected from there and further go down to continue the bear market cycle. With that being said, let's take a look at Bitcoin in a smaller time frame. And if you watched my previous video, I already said that Bitcoin daily RSI is now in oversold area, and it's very likely for Bitcoin to get a bounce from here. It already did, and now we are getting a bounce from $80,000 to all the way, which is around right now is around $86,000. I'm not saying that Bitcoin low is already in, but if it is not in, it's very likely that we are close to Bitcoin's low to be in. Now, if we look at Bitcoin's support and resistance level, there is a strong support. We're at around $86,000. Right now, Bitcoin is respecting that. And let's see if we will get a bounce from here and go up. If not, then even if Bitcoin go down, I think there's a huge amount of support around $75,000 to $76,000. That might be the low for Bitcoin. And from there, Bitcoin might go up. And also, if you take a look at Bitcoin's liquidation heat map, there's a huge amount of liquidity sitting around $98,000 to $99,000 above the current price of Bitcoin. And let me take a closer look. We have some liquidity right at around $88,000. Then we have starting from 94 all the way to around $98,000 or $99,000. That's exactly what I'm saying too, that Bitcoin is very likely to go up to meet the 50-week moving average, which is sitting around $100,000. Now let's take a look at Ethereum price to see how is Ethereum doing. Ethereum is also in its daily RSI is entering the oversold area, and there's a huge chance that Ethereum will also go up from here. And remember, since Ethereum is very much down compared to Bitcoin, it is very likely that whenever Bitcoin go up to meet the 50-week moving average at around $100,000, Ethereum might outperform Bitcoin, as well as some other large altcoins. It's very likely that will outperform Bitcoin because they are very, very much low, and Bitcoin dominance is currently going down. And as for the support and resistance level for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, we had a huge amount of support at around $2,600. This support line that we draw, Ethereum is exactly getting a bounce from this support area, but we have to see if Ethereum will continue to respect the support level and go up from here. If not, then there's a huge amount of support at around 2,400. And again, if it breaks, then we have a strong amount of support at around $2,100. But I think the Ethereum low, if it is not in, we are very close for Ethereum low to be in. And I think personally, and not financial advice, this is a great chance and great time to accumulate both Bitcoin and Ethereum, because like I said, it's very likely for us to see Bitcoin's price at around $100,000 pretty soon, maybe around end of December to beginning of January. Bitcoin should be at around $100,000, and from there it's a great chance to short Bitcoin to go down and take profit. Also, if you take a look at Bitcoin's fear and greed index, it's sitting at number 10. That is extreme fear, and that should itself be a reason, and I think is a reason that Bitcoin should bounce from there and go up, likely to around $100,000. All right, guys, if you like this video and you find it informative, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for another video update that's coming tomorrow. All right, have a good one.